So, Bash, welcome to the show. Tell
Thank
me,
you very much.
where are you?
I'm currently in Antwerp, Belgium, North Belgium, in a friend's house. They kindly put me up for the last few days of my trip, which is super nice. It's a lovely day here today. I'll be out on the bike this afternoon.
Nice. And how long have you been away from home for?
Nearly 10 months now, actually, which is
Wow.
pretty wild. I was only supposed to be 6, and it's turned to 10, which is nice. It's been a good adventure.
Let's try and put all this into a bit of context, really. So, you're 19 years old?
Yeah, turned 19 in Japan on the road.
Yeah. And you just, decided to pack your bike and go on a little adventure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finished my A-levels last summer, about this time last summer, actually. And I always knew I wanted to do a break, a year out to go and explore. And whether that was on a bike or not, I was still not sure. And then Japan seemed like a great idea, a really interesting place. I made a route from top to bottom, and I saw there was a few months. I thought it could be doable. Booked a flight, and then all things kind of aligned from there with the rest of my time there. And then on the trip in Japan, got the idea for this one.
Okay.
Because I just fell in love with this kind of travel.
And it's so essentially you're, I guess, just bike packing wherever you fancy at the moment. What I correct me if I'm wrong, but I looked at it as you started in Japan, did your fairly epic trip there, and then instead of flying home like any normal person would do, you decided to fly back to Istanbul and then ride home from there.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's two real parts of this journey over the last 10 months. There's the Japan section and then the European trip as well.
Yeah.
So Japan's one of those places where I've seen people ride and it just looks incredible. And it just, I've done a lot of riding in Europe, but not experienced much outside of it. But Japan has always been one of those places that I've been drawn to, and I think largely put off by the cost of doing stuff like that. But you seem to have managed it over 66 days?
That's right. Yeah, it was like 12th of September to of November.
And were you riding every day or
2 months? Sorry. Yes. Yeah, I was always constantly moving forwards. The most I ever took off was 3 days in Osaka before my dad met me for my birthday. I made it there early because I wanted to hang out in the city. It's an amazing city. But I was kind of moving, wanting to ride more. I rode like you can do it in about 2,500 K, but I wanted to take more time, take a super winding route. So I wanted to spend more days exploring.
So a real experience as opposed to just a point-to-point box ticket exercise, I guess.
Yeah. I took detours.
Nice.
I guess it was partly meander.
I mean, that's kind of I think that's generally my approach to stuff as well. Like even yesterday, my ride was, I plotted the route. It wasn't dissimilar to something I've done before. And then I looked at it and I was like, I've done that. And it's like you leave Marseille, you head towards just north of Aix-en-Provence, and then hang a right on a really nice, it's a pretty spectacular bike path. But every time I've done it, you've got like the Luberon on your right hand side, this like range of hills. And I was kind of like, oh, fuck it. Why don't I just try and ride, I'm sure I can find a route through, and just ignored commute, rode through and ended up doing like 5 climbs, cooked in the heat. But that's, just winging it on a daily basis is kind of how I roll, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm always intrigued by people doing similar stuff, and like just seeing you as young as you are and just going, fuck it, I'm going to head to Japan. It's really, really cool. Because you were racing before that, were you?
Yeah, I guess my kind of introduction to cycling was through racing from the British cycling scene, youth to junior to a bit of U23, but always had a little itch for exploring and adventures.
Yeah.
As a kid, adventures just in general, and then that was on the bike, and I decided that was what I wanted to pursue in this year I had before university.
Bike packing trip with your brother, was that kind of the inspiration behind? Did that kick on into what you're doing now?
Yeah, I think so. I remember, I was just thinking the other day, I remember when I was, I don't know how old I was, but I was reading Cycling Weekly, or like the magazine, and I saw there's a picture of bikes with panniers on them, the typical kind of Autoly waterproof panniers. I was like, that could be really cool. And I really wanted panniers then from there. And then, in lockdown.
That's not a phrase you hear very often. I really wanted a pannier.
Yeah. I mean, now, yeah. And then, I did a ride with my brother in lockdown when the world was shutting down and was not much was on offer. which I absolutely loved. We were both super inspired by Morton Brothers, just of the scene, and we're like, let's just do it. He
And
hadn't
how
done
old were you
much
both?
riding. I was 14, he was 16. So he
Wow.
just finished GCSEs. I was in school, and yeah, we just chose two friends' houses, and one in Gloucestershire, one in down near Southampton.
Yeah.
Made a triangle and set off. And that was, yeah. From there, it's always wanted to do a bigger thing, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a bit more than a bigger thing, isn't it? Like 4,500 K. What was did you have like an average daily distance, or were you winging it, trying to figure out where, taking it easy?
I didn't have a route. I didn't plan a route at all. And that was the best thing to do, because once you get there, everything changes in recommendations and what roads are like, how far you want to go, how your legs feel, where you want to stop, how long you want to stop for. So I think that's a huge thing. I kind of say to people, when I'm speaking about different people who do bikepacking, I think, not planning a route, having a rough route and a rough time, but playing it by ear. I think it ended up being about 65K a day, including rest days. So
Okay.
I guess that was maybe 80 or 90 on riding days. And obviously it varies with the ascent. So some days were like 40K with 1,500 meters. Some days were 100K flat. So
What were your highlights
it
in
really varied.
Japan?
Of that ride,
Yeah.
the highlights, I'd say the best feeling was finishing. That was
Okay.
something, once you've had that kind of feeling, you know what it's like. It's the best feeling I've ever had in my life. In terms of kind of accomplishment, and because it was just out of this world.
Did
That
you get
was
the opportunity
amazing.
to actually sort of take it in as well? Did you have like when you finished, was there like a little celebration, a bit of time to yourself, and got time
Yeah.
to absorb it?
So yeah, the finish it's down a kind of like peninsula. So the whole country kind of funnels in a bit. And I camped like PK from the bottom, to then ride to the bottom, then ride past where I camped the previous day to a hotel. So I got to the finish at about 11:30 in the morning, and I wanted to have a few hours there to soak it up. So it was a beautiful day. I sat there up on this super rocky kind of end of the world, and just sat there as a like nice viewpoint. Sat there with an Asahi and some sushi, of course,
Yeah.
and just soaked it all up, which was incredible. And I went for a swim, dipped my front tire in the sea
Yeah. Actually.
at the end. Yeah,
And
yeah.
was the European leg that you've almost finished now, was that always the plan, or was it just a why not?
It was a why not? Yeah.
Amazing.
I literally remember the time when I was riding my bike on my aerobic. I was making a route, and it was like, it would be great to do it from Japan and do the whole thing, but that would be like a 6-month kind of proper trip, which I didn't really have time for. I wanted to do Tbilisi because Georgia seems like a really cool place, but then it ended up being Istanbul, which was nice, the kind of gateway to the east. I started in Asia, and it's a very interesting, great city. Istanbul. I was only there for a day, unfortunately, but the kind of blend of European, Asian, and Middle Eastern cultures, fascinating. I set myself a kind of get home date of 1st of July,
Okay.
which is in 10 days' time.
Yeah, well ahead of that.
Yeah. And
so moving on to European leg then. So you covered some pretty bucket list stuff, especially I looked at the riding you're doing Switzerland, which is one of my favorite places to ride.
Yeah, that was out of this world.
Yeah. Had you I assume you've never done anything like that before?
No, I've only done kind of Mallorca. I've done like a few Belgian kermesses, but I've never cycled in Italy, never done the Alps. So yeah, there was
all in one
like,
trip.
this is the bucket list stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to the podcast you did about Switzerland, and I was just like, as you know, it's the most breathtaking place. It's like riding through an Apple screensaver in mountains.
Yeah, that's a brilliant way of putting it.
It's proper pitch yourself moments, which is amazing to do. And cycled through Italy and now into Belgium. There's bike paths everywhere. The majority of the rides of the last 5 days have been 80% of bike paths, which has been amazing.
Yeah, even yesterday I was on just some incredible bike paths, and it's just so nice to be away from traffic, busyness, noise.
Yeah.
And whether it's Komoot or Strava, they just seem to pick these really, really good. I've done loads in Italy and Switzerland, and even the ones I'm finding here in France. It's just incredible. Like, the infrastructure is great.
It's amazing. Although I even find riding, there's the city infrastructure. I've ridden through some cities like Bern and here in Antwerp. Bicycle infrastructure is just outstanding. Bikes everywhere, as you know, in Europe. But I find it sometimes quite like overwhelming and stressful because there's like bike path, there's tram, there's cars, there's crossings. I'm like, what am I to do here? Because in the UK, you just ride on the road, especially for like a road bike going fast. But everyone uses the bike path. It's like you're back in a peloton,
I think the only,
doing
yeah.
some cat-free crit.
Although I found when I rode, I think Copenhagen probably highlighted it most for me, was all that you
Okay.
look at it, so you could be stood still, just like taking it all in, and you look at it and it looks like busy, chaotic carnage. But actually, when you're in it, it's really calming, and it's nothing like London. Like to me, where I commute from home to my office, there's a couple of bike paths that I use, and I'm
Yeah.
terrified. But whenever you go into Europe, like the culture is obviously very, very different,
Mm,
and it might look chaotic, but there's a real kind of flow to it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
different. I think the only,
Yeah. Everyone knows how to ride a bike well here,
yeah, I think, and
even if they're
you
not
know,
like a local cyclist.
I think the only place I'm going to hit with any, I've got to ride through Paris, and that's the only metropolitan area that I'm going to hit on the whole route back. The rest of it seems fairly quiet. So yeah, looking
That'd
forward.
be great.
Yeah, I've never ridden in Paris, so we'll see. I don't know whether to be terrified or not, but
You're going to go up the Champs Elysees and
unlikely.
get your hands in the air.
Yeah, go for the sprint, or potentially even what's the new one that they used last year?
Oh, the climb.
Yeah. Maybe try and throw that in. Who knows?
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how many countries have you gone through on this leg?
8. I think it's 8 now. No, maybe more. Yeah, Turkey, Greece, Albania, North Macedonia, Italy, Switzerland, France. I went to Germany, but I didn't really go to Germany. I was just on the border. And then Luxembourg,
What was that
Belgium.
like? I guess
Well,
Luxembourg you pass through fairly quickly, do you?
Yeah, I didn't actually get off my bike, only for traffic lights. I rode it for like 20 or 30K. But I've heard it's quite an interesting place.
Yeah,
It seems
someone was saying it the other day, actually.
wealthy. I think it was a big business there.
Yeah.
It's an interesting place. It's an interesting spot, this whole kind of area, because there's no like physical official border crossings. You kind of just weave in and out. At points I didn't know if I was in Germany or France or not. And then in South Belgium they speak French, which makes it even more confusing.
Yeah. I found that in Switzerland. You could go on a ride and there would be like multiple different languages and road signs.
Yeah.
And even my first experience of riding through like the Dolomites, I had the radio on and everything was in German, and then the road signs were in German, and it was so long ago that I was using like a map instead of Garmin or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, I must have left Italy. I'm not supposed to be in, like, why is everything in German? It made and it freaked me out. And I just didn't realize that part of Italy was.
They speak German today.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. Okay.
And then I go into Switzerland, and it's like 1 minute it's French, the next minute it's German, then it's a local dialect, and then it's great. Like, I love learning about all this stuff, and
I think it's super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of what motivates a lot of my riding is like these kind of experiences, as opposed to, I don't care about racing data, aero, or anything like that. For me, like, riding a bike is about just experiences and travel, getting to see all these places, people, cultures. So when I see what you've been doing, it's like, that shit's cool. So yeah, and congrats as well. Like, it's a big old shift, 10 months on the road. So what's next? So you kind of like, you've obviously got the bug for riding your bike for a long time. Are there any other plans to consider? Like, is ultra on the horizon? Is there any kind of like different kind of aspects of cycling that you didn't really consider before that you want to look at now?
Yeah, I think I'm at a quite interesting spot now within cycling, and cycling itself is quite a unique spot. I love going fast and chucking an aero jersey on the chainey with the local crew, and then I also love doing this kind of stuff, exploring by bike, and I want to do it all, really. I'll do what I love, whether that be bikepacking or racing or just riding. But I have found a real joy and satisfaction in pushing my body for a long time over multiple days in amazing places.
And have you got any events lined up?
Yeah, so I entered for the GB Giro. The entries were last winter, and that's an ultra bikepacking. I think they call it a race. There is the winner from Land's End, John O'Groats, over 2,000K, majority off road in August, which is which is the next step on the card. So I've done a bit of this is, I guess, a bit of training for it. Done a few big days recently. And that's been an event I've always dreamed of doing since Lachlan did it in 2019 and won. And they produced an excellent video on it, which I've
There
seen
can't be many
multiple
19-year-olds doing
times.
that. I assume there's not
Funny
many
enough, there's
19-year-olds.
been two guys I think they were 19, 20, 21. Both started, I think they both scratched about around halfway. So I would be the youngest to finish, or hopefully will be. Which it's cool to see lots of young people seem to be getting into this as well.
Yeah, I mean, I bring it up in almost every episode with whoever I talk to about the changes that I've seen in cycling. And I keep getting told it might be my bubble, but I'm definitely seeing, or I seem to be seeing, more people who are new to cycling, who've not had a similar path to you, but, they could be in their mid-20s to early 30s, discovered cycling, in the last couple of years. Lucy, who was on the last show, she couldn't even ride a bike before the pandemic.
Yeah, that was super interesting to listen to that one.
Yeah, and now he's doing all axes.
Mm.
And I'm seeing people going out and doing 200k rides like it's nothing. And I saw someone my mate Rich went out and did 400 day before yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. I was listening about it.
And you're just like
that casual.
Yeah, like 400 is not casual. 200 is not casual. But it's the whole going out all day at the weekends for a ride. And what I really like is that most people aren't prefixing it with training ride. It's just a ride and they're going out for a very long time. And I think that's really, really cool. And I can see more and more people like this longer distance ultra Audax. I can really see this growing over the next few years as it just more people seem to think, this sort of stuff is fun.
Yeah.
And if you'd have asked me a few years ago, I'd probably do one trip a year just to escape. Like it doesn't serve any other purpose than a bit of a mental reset. And I don't cover massive distances on my days. It's like 150 to maybe 250, but I'm not riding through the night or sleeping in cemeteries and stuff like that. It's very much a holiday. But
yeah,
I definitely see more and more younger people going down this route instead of, I don't know, pinning numbers on. It just seems to be, maybe it's the community aspect, I don't know, but it's really, really cool to see. And that, even the way that manufacturers are picked up on it as well, and whether it's kit, bikes, making stuff just so that people can ride more is really cool.
Yeah, it's great. I think people are really finding that they can do what they want on a bike. It could be so much to so people and so many different things.
Yeah,
I think it's a completely different feeling doing a long ride or race compared to doing like a crit or a road race.
Yeah,
and the training involved is really different.
Looking at Lucy, she's like, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And she really means it. And yes, she trains, but it doesn't seem to take over her life. And I think, it's just, especially with the summer and the days getting longer, and is it solstice next week or the week after or fairly soon?
Yeah.
I think that weekend, Strava and Instagram will just be full of 200 to 300k rides.
Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah, I think it's I don't remember seeing this really. I'd say in the last 2 years is when it first became apparent to me.
Yeah. Because I think anything over 6 hours is like a big day out.
Yeah.
Even doing like a 4 or 5 hour ride on Saturdays like that, it's a proper ride, But then going out and doing 8, 9, 10. It's realms you never really. It's like you just see it on your Wahoo. It's like that. Just seems weird seeing 8, 9, or even double figure hours on your timer.
I tend not to look at times. I don't even know how long yesterday took, but it's just when you finished it, you're like, especially yesterday, like the last probably 60k, it was well over 30 degrees, no shade, climbing. I was properly cooked. I've got the same again. I think tomorrow's 200k. Finishes with a climb, and I wouldn't normally plan a route with as much detail as I am now, because it's like I have to be able to find food, I have to be able to find water. Normally I just wing it and get away with it, but I think in this heat there's a bit more planning involved in just trying to stay safe and hydrated and well fed, because I found yesterday I was eating properly, loading up with fluid the whole time, stopping to put sun cream on.
Makes such a difference.
I was still like the last 40k was like slow. It was a drag.
How have you found that whole aspect of this trip you've done? Because it almost, for me, like the riding then becomes the easy bit. It's the planning around it. I mean, it doesn't help me don't plan a route, but
Yeah.
it's the organization and admin, personal admin, bike admin, route, stops, campsites, currency, language, which is the difficult bit and which takes a lot of your effort and time. Have you found it similar?
I think probably not so much because obviously I'm just going through France. So the one thing I find with France and planning routes is you can plan the most spectacular route. And even my ride from Dieppe to Lille at the start of the trip, the route was incredible. Really, really quiet, lovely roads, didn't hit any big towns. But that was part of the problem. I couldn't find water. I couldn't find I couldn't find any food stops. And rural France for me was like it's a real. I've always found it a challenge.
Right.
Just if you go out on a 200k ride, just getting water on a point to point seems to be difficult. I did speak to a colleague, and they said cemeteries are the answer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because obviously a lot of towns will have fonts, fountains. Some are drinkable, but a lot aren't. But he said there's always drinking water in the cemetery because if you go into the chapel, there's water there for taking care of the graves and flowers and all that stuff. So
Okay.
as well as trying to look for supermarkets and tobaccos and things like that, looking for cemeteries seems to be the answer. So I'll find out.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Well, good luck for it. I think, it's funny having to, because you do want to just pass through nice small villages and rural areas, but sometimes you have to divert to a town, find a little, get to the bakery section and and restock.
So when you
especially
get
on a Sunday.
yeah, that's a really good point. So when you get home, have you got some time off? Are you gonna chill out, or are you just busy trying to plan the next big thing?
So I get home tomorrow morning, which is crazy to say. My ferry arrives at 6:30, and I've got some local mates coming out to ride the last few k's with me, which is super nice. So we'll roll into there's a nice
And
market square.
you London based?
No, I'm up in Woodbridge, which is Suffolk, just outside Ipswich.
Okay.
It's like an hour train northeast of London, in a kind of little head of the UK as it pops out. Very nice spot. Not many climbs, but it's a lovely countryside. I'll certainly take a couple days to chill, but I'm looking forward to getting back riding with mates and on the local roads on my road bike. And I want to carry this fitness that I've just gained as well.
Yeah. I think there's nothing worse than doing a trip like this, no matter how long it is, and you're like, oh yeah, I've just ridden however many Ks. You get back to the UK, you've got work or whatever, and you're like, oh, you just lose it overnight.
Yeah.
So I want to try and get back to the UK a couple of weeks' time and go out with mates that have been kicking my ass all winter. Hopefully have something in my legs to be able to dish it out again.
Yeah. You kind of escaped for a bit and then did some secret training, and now you're like, okay, I'm back, guys.
Yeah. So GB Duro, and will you start looking for more stuff after that as well?
Yeah, I haven't thought hugely after that. I'll go to uni in September, but I'd love to do these. There's a lot. I mean, the UK scene is really good for all this. There seems to be something, especially in the summer, every weekend, every other weekend.
Yeah.
I'd love to get in. I'd love to tap into this space, like I kind of did with road cycling and road racing 4 or 5 years ago. I'd love to get part of this community, find some great events, do the great events, hopefully do well in them.
What have you learned about?
Take up a fancy.
What have you learned about equipment? So you've if you were to do, let's just say, the European leg again, what have you learned about what worked, what didn't? Has the way that you kind of like, I guess, packed, or you thought you'd need a load of stuff that you didn't need, or it's one thing that I always say that I never seem to be able to learn what to take. And on this trip, I've because I had a work section of it, I had to bring my laptop, I had to bring my camera gear. Without that, and if I didn't have the work bit, I think I could have got down to like a really light setup for this ride home.
Yeah.
So I think I'm getting there, but I guess you're carrying camping stuff and like a lot more than most people would be.
Yeah. You do learn a lot. Like my setup at the start of Japan, I didn't laugh about it. It was so heavy. I had lots of random stuff.
Did you just kind of jettison it
50
on
kilos.
the way? Jeez.
What was that, sorry?
Did you just jettison stuff on the way and go like, why did I bring that? And why did I bring that?
Yeah. Literally a week in, I sent a box back to Tokyo because I was like, this is stuff I don't need. And then from there, then packing for this, I was then even more kind of minimal. And then when I met my mum in Corfu a few weeks ago, we did a few days cycling. She rented an e-bike, which was awesome. And then I gave her a load more stuff because I knew there's going to be some hills coming up.
Yeah.
I kept just about what I needed, which I'm thankful for Switzerland, because that was freezing. But I mean, from what it is now, like where you are, you don't need much. If it's like 16 degrees at night, you're absolutely fine. So I've got fork bags as pannier bags,
So you've got
tail fin, and a
fork
bar bag.
bags, tail fin, and then did you say bum bag as well?
Bar bag. So
Bar bag.
it's just like it's a Rafa a pretty standard dry bag, which then
Yeah.
attaches to your front.
So
And
like
a
a
little
proper
butcher's rack as well.
touring setup.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's been
that's
sweet.
nice.
It's been great. The cargo pack from Tailfin is actually super useful with the pockets on the sides, the arm warmers and stuff going there.
It looks great. It's I've always kind of admired their stuff and but never had the finances to warrant splashing out. But it looks like the perfect setup.
Yeah. No, it is really good. So the weight distribution is quite a thing you have to think about as well.
Yeah,
I think
I've
I'm
made
really
a few
solved
mistakes
the
there
wobble.
before. And nutrition wise, I guess you're not using any. You're just using what you can find. Yeah.
Yeah. I've like learned on the way that you can just never eat enough. You've got to kind of eat for England. So I've got a timer on my Wahoo to eat every half an hour. So I buy basic cereal bars and I have one of those every half an hour, and then a banana kind of alternate. And then in the last few hours, then mix it up with some other stuff.
Yeah, I can't imagine taking gels and that sort of stuff and just having to clean your teeth every half an hour just because. Yeah. Ugh. So just gas stations and supermarkets are the way forward.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And then electrolytes, Haribos.
All the
But yeah,
good
you do
stuff.
learn a lot about how to fuel your body, what works, what doesn't work, how much you got to put in to fuel it, which is a lot.
Nice. So overnight ferry home.
Yeah. 10 p.m. tonight.
See some people you've not seen for a while.
Yeah, which would be great.
And when do you start? So I guess you've got summer off and then start uni.
Yeah. So uni will start mid-September.
That's quite some gap year.
No question. I didn't think it would be this grand.
It's
when I was
incredible.
planning
So
it.
like to see, just the whole attitude towards the adventure has been really, really cool to watch.
Thank you.
You've just made it look fun, which I think is probably the most inspiring part of it. Like I think this sort of stuff should be fun. And yeah, there's times where it might get a little bit dark and you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? But
yeah,
when you're going through Switzerland or bits of Japan and you're just like, you're never going to forget those memories.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part, ensuring it's fun. I've kind of grown a really gut feeling of what I want to do in the day. Like if I have a decision to make, I'll know what's inside. I know what I want to do, whether that's like how far I want to ride, where to, what kind of campsite. And really, it helps that I'm doing it alone.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I don't think I'd ever do anything like this with anyone.
No, it's nice to have people along the way, but to have it on the whole as your own thing, I think is a great thing to do.
So like we kind of talked about winging it earlier on. And I think whenever I do these trips, I tend to ride half the day. And I've got like a route-ish in mind. And there's a point A and there's a point B. And it might be I want to do however many kilometers a day. But you might wake up and by lunchtime you just feel like shit. And it's okay to stop, or I won't book any accommodation until late in the afternoon because I either feel good, I might keep going, or I feel rubbish and I might want to stop. So
yeah,
the daily distances vary just based on anything, like how I physically feel, how I mentally feel. Even I rode up. The plan was to ride every day. I got to my friends and not seen them for a while. I was like, I don't need to ride today. I'll ride tomorrow. Ride tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think I have a day to hit next Wednesday to be in Paris, but if some days are longer and some days are shorter and there's no pressure being put on me by myself, then just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's hugely important, doing what you really want to do. Because then if you're doing something you don't want to, that's when the enjoyment comes out of it.
So
we're not out here to break records.
No, it's just
if I need to take a rest day or I can't go up. In Switzerland, I had a few of those moments. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go up to 2,000 meter pass because it's raining 100 meters above my head.
Yeah. So obviously you've learned quite a lot about planning, equipment, and probably learned quite a lot about yourself as well. If anyone's listening, watching, what are your best 3 tips for doing this sort of stuff? You know, if you're thinking,
I think, go for it.
if you're thinking, whether it be like an overnighter or some kind of epic, you know, like days and days and days or months, like you've done, are there 3 bits of advice you could give people?
Okay. I'd say the first one is it doesn't have to be a super grand, difficult thing. It doesn't have to be a week camping in ditches, doing super hard riding. Like if you, yeah, like I did on this first trip when I was younger, just pick 2 friends' houses, not camping, or book 2 hotels and just throw some kit in a bag. You don't have to have all the nice kit. Just do it on your road bike and just start, because a lot of people are worried that it has to be this huge thing. You have to camp and do big
Everything's got to be
distances, but
perfect.
really, yeah. And you've got this really nice, expensive kit, but you know, you could go on Marketplace, find some bike bags, and see how it goes, and then have the flexibility. If you get into day 50K and you're like, sweet, that'll be enough, then great. Or if you're like, I feel amazing, let's do 200, then also great.
Yeah.
Listening to your body is massive. That kind of links with the gut feeling, but also physically and mentally, you can really know when the bonk is coming.
Yeah.
You need to fuel more. You've to load in the food. It makes an incredible difference whether you need to then eat more or sleep or book a hotel for the night. I got a bit ill, and in a part of Japan, I was like, actually, I should book a hotel and ride a short amount, and I slept for like 10 hours that night.
Amazing.
And the next day was sweet.
And the difference a shower can make as well.
Yeah. So I've done campsites almost every night because I want a shower, and I want to be, a lot of it is being around people and just being like, to finish the ride, stop the Garmin, bike away, and then I do the camp, and then I ride the next day.
Yeah.
If I was wild camping, I'd kind of be always in the kind of adventure-y mindset and always be slightly off grid, which I kind of want to come into somewhere and stop.
Okay. And final bit of advice.
Final bit of advice. Yeah, I think pick a route that you really want to do. If there's something that's sticking with you, if you have a feeling like, oh, this would be a really, really cool place, then go for it. Whether that's somewhere local to your home, whether it's like, I want to go do like NC 500 up in Scotland, or Wales, or a random country, or if you see people doing like the Silk Road, it's a massive gig. But if it could be somewhere just in Europe, I've met loads of people that are like, yeah, we do tour around France all the time, or in Belgium, anywhere you have a kind of itch for.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'll wrap it up there. And again, just want to say congrats on such an amazing journey over the last year. It's
Thank
been
you
really,
very
really
much.
really cool to watch. And looking forward to seeing what's next and tearing it up at GB Dura, I guess.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me on. It feels great to be part of this amazing group of
Absolute
cyclists
pleasure.
and racers that you've had on.
It's funny. The podcast has taken a direction that I never expected it to. There's something I find really inspiring about this area of riding bikes, and whether it's ultras, gravel, or the brands that have, I guess, created their own little niches. So obviously Charlie from Albion doing spectacular things, the guys from Stander, Camille from Further, and then there's the riders. And I spoke to one of the founders of Badlands, so he'll be coming on soon as well.
Okay, nice.
And I can't quite understand how this has happened because it's not me, but I find it really, really interesting. And listening to people like you who do these incredible things is really, really cool. So just please keep doing it.
Yeah, I know, it's great. It's to see there's so much. I mean, you just scroll through Instagram and there's so many people from all walks of cycling who are doing it. It's great to see and inspiring.
Well, safe travels back home. Try and enjoy the ferry, which is never a pleasant thing. And take some time
hopefully.
off. And look forward to seeing what you get onto next.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Enjoy the rest of your ride through France.
Cheers, man.
Awesome. All right, ciao. Thank you.